Welcome to the special edition of Countdown to Tokyo Olympics, and today we have with us the troika of Indian swimming, Srihari, Nataraj, Sajan, Prakash and Maana Patel, the three who have qualified for the Tokyo Olympic extravaganza. Let's find out about their struggle, their life, their journey and what made them tick for this particular Olympic Games. This is a historic moment for both of you. In fact, Sajan, you created the first time you reached the A timing. How was your journey so far for both of you? How did a Kerala policeman turned into this chap who is everybody look up to in the game?
The turning point was for me in 2013, where I got my first Best Indian performance in 400 freestyle. And in 2015, I started very much focusing on 200 meter butterfly, and I participated in Rio in 200 meter butterfly as well. And from then on, we focused on working towards the progression towards this one event and working on many strategies to cut down seconds and getting or improving my skills towards this 200 meter butterfly event only. In the last 1 year, after the lockdown, we put all our effort in, and coming out of an injury, we had to basically start from everything from scratch. And we certainly put all our hard work in, and we saw the progress happening. And I'm happy that I could achieve it at the end of the deadline towards the Olympic qualification.
Sri, what about you? How did you get into the game? Was there, for the family? I'm sure your father, I believe, was an athlete. Was that a major impetus for you to join swimming?
Yeah, I mean, I actually come from a family of cricketers. My dad played in the university team. A few of my uncles played in the Ranji team. My cousin played in the India team in the India A team with Dravid, and he was the teammate in the late 90s. So yeah, it was a bit surprising to everyone that I didn't pick up cricket because I grew up playing cricket as well. But I went into the sport of swimming because my brother used to swim and my mom used to take me to the pool, and I was the naughtiest kid in the entire area, and she just couldn't keep me controlled. So she thought if I spend like 15-20 minutes in the pool, I might get tired and fall asleep. So I started at the age of 2. I didn't really have a choice. And yeah, I grew up playing a lot of sports, but yeah, I think this is the one that I picked up after a while.
I don't think much has changed. I believe the way Sajan was smiling, it seems he knows that you're still probably the naughtiest kid in the circuit right now. Am I right?
Maybe he beats me. Maybe he beats me in that.
All right. So, I mean, Sajan, you actually created history. You got the A timing, that cut, that elusive timing that people were talking about. What was going in your mind in Italy? You didn't, obviously the pandemic hampered your preparation. What was going on in your mind?
Yeah, it was do or die moment at the end of the day, because the deadline was 27th and my race was on 26th, and I had no more races left. If I had to do it, I had to do it on that day. But the most challenging part was, as I said, the injury on last year, where I had to come out of that. And when I even started swimming from scratch, I had to just overcome the pain over the period. I had to do all of my training sessions, at least 50% of the pain, and I had to mentally overcome that. But I think the overall support team, the club ANSA in Dubai, and my physios, and of course my coach Pradeep sir and his wife, where I was staying in their house, they were very supportive for me to, they were moral support for me to overcome all of this. And I think that's why I could do it. It's not only me, it's the whole support system who made me do this today.
Srihari, you probably were a lot tensed, I believe, because the trial was there. You got the number required timing, but it was still up to the FINA to decide your fate. What was that particular moment? How did you sleep by that night?
Yeah, I mean, so what happened was I did the individual event on 25th and I missed it by 0.05. So we later asked for a separate trial because I didn't have another chance. So that was, we just thought of trying to get a separate trial and we got in a separate trial. And yeah, that even though I got the time, I had to wait for FINA to, accept it. I was a little, anxious and we weren't, I was getting impatient, but that night I did not sleep, but this wasn't the reason. I was just sitting up on the phone and trying to, reply to everyone. And I was leaving in a couple of days and I slept, but I wasn't, I wasn't tensed about it. I didn't really think about it. And I think that's because I was traveling, I went sightseeing, so it wasn't in my mind.
And we were watching movie at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
we were watching at the movie and then on the last night, so.
Having an ice cream in hand.
All right, Mana, you qualify for the universality quota. For our viewers, we want to know exactly what is universality quota. Could you explain it to our viewers?
So basically, if in the female gender nobody achieves an Olympic A cut or the Olympic B cut, then there is this universality spot. So, so in my gender, like no girl had got the B time or the A time. So then it comes down to the FINA points. So if you swim a race at any FINA recognized competitions and you clock a time, you get certain FINA points for the time that you've clocked in your event. And the girl with the highest FINA points, they get to go. They get the preference.
You had a difficult time also. You were struggling. You had a injury also in your career.
It was very, very difficult for me because back then when I was injured, I was just 17 years old and I was very young. I didn't know how to deal with it because it was the first in my career and obviously hopefully the last, but yeah, I was depressed for quite some time because I had to start from zero. And after the labrum tear, after it kind of got recovered, I had another injury in my right shoulder followed by an ankle injury in 2020. So everything like it was very difficult for me mentally. Physical pain was there, but then I was still able to manage that. But the frustration and the irritation that came along was very difficult to handle. Then I was very worried about my training. I was worried about how will I perform going up in other races. So, but luckily, obviously, as Sajan mentioned, I mean, if you have a good team with you, my team back then made me feel really, really comfortable. They helped me come out of it, and I think I'm much, much stronger now mentally and physically.
Okay, to all three of you, I'd like to pose this question. The last year has been very difficult. Most of the swimming pool were closed. You had a difficulty in training. How did you guys cope up both mentally and physically?
Yeah, it was actually the first time I was out of the water for that long. I've never actually really had a vacation or even like a week off throughout at least the past decade. So I actually kind of enjoyed it. Initially, I was just, I was working out at home with a couple of friends online, a couple of my juniors. But other than that, I was just, doing things that I could never do, staying up, watching movies the whole day. I learned how to play the guitar a bit. I was playing every sport that I could. I was going out and playing cricket, tennis, with my friend, and so it was just a little too much fun for me. It was frustrating, but I kept telling myself we did request the government to open up, and that's all we could do. It wasn't in our control, so there's no point stressing out about it. But for sure, we did lose a lot of time because of that, and that's definitely impacted our performance.
I would say it's just like the fish out of the water. It tried to survive for some bit, but then at the end of the day, you cannot do much. It's not in your control. As you said, we tend to build those habits over the period of so many years, and suddenly if something is stopped, you're helpless. You can't do anything with COVID around. It's about keeping that momentum on, at least even when we cannot train, waking up at that time and doing some exercise indoors and keeping it going. At the end of the day, you are an athlete. You are a package of everything, a willpower, confidence, everything you are built in. And you need to, if you need to be keep it going, you need to be self-confident with those habits to keep you moving around when you get back to training when the pools are open. And I think that's what it helped me in that case, and everyone here.
I would say initially the lockdown was kind of a blessing in disguise for me because of my ankle injury. My body actually needed that rest, and yeah, after like. And the lockdown kept on extending, and it was not in our control. Pools were shut for the longest. So after a certain point, after I recovered, that's when I started getting really annoyed. Just by doing the home workouts, it was just not enough because there was so much of energy that was not being utilized. But then instead of overthinking, because nothing was in our control, so instead of overthinking, I just decided to live in the moment. I mean, of course, I'm never going to get this much of free time ever in my life. So I decided to, start reading good books that kept me motivated, started painting, and then I started working for the animal welfare, feeding the strays, taking up a few cases. So that's how it went on.
Mana, also you're a product of Khelo India. How do you think this particular platform helps budding athletes, especially in swimming?
I think Khelo India is a wonderful initiative by the central government because for athletes, in order to assess their progress, all you have to do is race. It's very important to race, and with swimming we only have 2 national competitions throughout the year, and Khelo India is in addition to it. So it's a wonderful platform for all athletes, including the swimmers, to come up and showcase their talent, get one more chance to compete. And of course the financial the prize money and everything is also a different kind of motivation to all other athletes. So I think in the coming years, it's really gonna motivate other athletes from different parts of the country to come up and compete there.
Srihari, people call you the new, swimming sensation in the country. It's a huge pressure, I believe. At the same time, it gives you that extra kick at the same time.
I only get the kick. There's never pressure on me. I don't take pressure. In fact, I enjoy all of this. It's something. It's great. I'm glad that people are calling it that.
It will open the doors of swimming, open the door for the sport in the country, and more people will come and participate.
I think it's a new beginning. It's about believing that we could do it as a nation. Earlier years, I think this is the first time we are doing the A cut, and it's all about we started believing that we can do it, and we are close to the world standards. I think the A times are more closely to a semi-final times, and it's all about we are the tip of the iceberg, and there are so many other athletes who have done amazing in the past, and we have followed their footsteps, and their advice and experience have helped us a lot. And from here on, it's all everyone's responsibility to bring up Indian swimming to the new heights.
When you qualified, I'm sure you were flooded with messages, calls. You were literally the toast of the nation. Headlines, making the round. How did you take it up? You were elated, I'm sure, but was there a pressure on you? You feel that it's the burden of taking the sport further is on your shoulders?
I think too much of pride also we should not take it to our head, and too much of hate also we should not take it to our heart. That's what I believe in. But I've not received as much as wishes or calls in my entire life. I'm very overwhelmed with that. But we have to be focused at this point towards only one goal: doing well at the Olympics, and that's our duty.
Srihari, tell us about the top scheme. You were part of that. You got a lot of help from Sports Authority of India, the government of India. How that helped you in shaping as a swimmer, in becoming what you are currently?
Yeah, so I've been part of the top scheme since 2018, and it's a great initiative by Sai. It's so beneficial financially and morally. You know that someone's always there to back you up. So in your head, you don't get worried, and the financial part of it is taken care of, helping me, afford the best equipment, the best facilities, the competing in the tournaments and things like that. So it's been, a huge boost in my career, and they're also, playing a huge role in sports. And now there are 14 swimmers in the top scheme, and it's just growing every year. So that's, it's going to help not only me but also the sport. And it's, I would really like to thank Sai for doing that, and SFI for, recommending me to be in that
Uh,
scheme.
Mana, you are a budding swimmer. What do you believe that the country needs to get going or needs to put in place in order to have the infrastructure, in order to have more swimmers competing in the Olympics? I believe after athletics, swimming has the most number of medals. So, what do you think that is required to boost the profile of the sport in the country?
Of course, if you have good facilities to train at, then of course you'll be able to train better and then perform better. But I believe the infrastructure has changed a lot in the country. The government has been doing so much, and with all these scholarships and the financial schemes that the government has been giving out to the athletes is also a different kind of motivation to them, because they can be tension free and only focus on their training. So yes, the sporting culture has changed in India, and it's only going to get better in the future with all these Khelo India, Khelo Youth Games as a part of the career. So yeah, I think it's going to be better. It's already looking better.
Srihari, I believe you had a stint with a sports scientist, Skolwas, and you
Yeah.
were very much impressed. Tell us what is different, what has he done differently, and where he made a huge difference in your career.
Yeah, so Dr. Gennady Sokolovas, or also known as, we call him Dr. G, he came down in Feb. He works out of the US. So yeah, he was, it was so good that we got him down here. That's I and SFI planned and got him down here because he could point out so many things in my swim that made me, when I was watching the analysis, it made it seem like I don't know how to swim anymore. He could point out that many mistakes, and yeah, working with him in terms of fixing my technique, knowing where are my strengths, at what point of the stroke I'm picking up speed, at what point am I losing speed, what can I change to do that, trying to be more efficient. All of that is played a huge role in just making that 0.9 second drop from my previous best time.
Sajan, it's swimming is a very demanding sport. Be it physically, mentally, it's a very demanding sport. How do you guys prepare yourself? There is a whole plethora of exercises, gymming. What exactly goes? Please tell our viewers the hard work that you guys put in, the sweat that you put in. Both you and Srihari, please explain what do you do on the whole day and prepare yourself.
Sometimes, the more fatigue, you can't even, you cry, you can't even see that in the water. Sometimes it's sometimes it gets to a level, it's too painful, and but that's what it is. You take any profession, the amount of work you put in or the pain, it depends on that sport, at least. Waking up at every morning at 3:45 and going to the pool and jumping inside the cold water. Sometimes it's your body is not ready, but you have to be extremely strong in your mind to go and do that training sessions. It's all about training. There is no nonsense. We cannot fool around a single session, being sluggish or being very relaxed. Even if it's a recovery session, you need to be focused on recovering and I would say there is no nonsense.
Srihari, I believe one has to also cut down on your intake of food. You have to take a different sort of a food habit also. And I am of the opinion that you somewhere down the line cut down your sweets. Is it true?
Yeah, based on what it was, it's nothing close to what it used to be. Yeah, it depends. I mean, depends on the season, depends on the person, depends on the amount of work that they're doing there, as to how much food they need to eat. When we get closer to a meet and when we're on the taper phase, we do cut down our calories because we're swimming a lot lesser. We're not lifting as much. We just go into the gym for maintain our muscle tone and not lose all our strength. And the swim is just to sharpen up the fast twitch fibers, sharpen up our starts, our turns, just have that water feel and let your body rest so that you can perform better on race day. But if it goes into off season, and if you're swimming both those sessions and you're on, swimming like about 7-8 kilometers per session, then you can load with as many calories as you need. And then you can.
But it was difficult. It's difficult to physically prepare yourself day in, day out.
It is, but for me, the only problem is the waking up. That's the only problem for me. It's just to wake up. But other than that, I always, I don't mind going to the pool or going to the gym. I need to at least go to the pool and gym once a day. I'm addicted to going to the gym now. I've always been addicted to going to the pool. Even if I don't put in 100%, I just need to spend that 2 hours in the pool. Just spend time in the pool.
Maana has probably something to say about that. Getting up in the morning, she was laughing. So I believe she will have something to share here.
Well, I love sleeping, and I mean, as much as I love sleeping until late, it's just so sad that my body clock is such that even on off days I end up waking up early, and then I have to force myself to sleep. It's just so annoying. Like one day I'd love to get up very late, but it just never happens because I end up waking up out of habit.
Right. Before we wrap up the show, a quick word from all three of you. Your thoughts on Tokyo Olympics and how much is it an opportunity for all of you, for three of you, the three musketeers, to make the country proud?
It's the greatest event on earth, and we feel that inside. We have kept this Olympicism inside our head and heart. We put in all the work for that moment. We are not going to be nervous, or we are not going to do any nonsense for that small moments. We have that in our heart, and we'll swim our heart out in Tokyo.
Really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I mean, it's a chance to race against the best, and everybody's going to bring their A game. So yeah, it's always been a dream and a goal to make it to the Olympics, and being in Japan is a bonus as well, because my favorite TV show is a Japanese anime, so I always wanted to go there for that. So one, it's a goal. Two, it's somewhere that I always wanted to go to, and three, I'm just gonna enjoy the racing.
This kid sizing.
I wanted to know. I just wanted to stop Srihari. What exactly is your favorite anime serial?
Dragon Ball Super.
You love Dragon Balls.
I love Dragon Balls.
Sajan, don't smile on that. I do love Dragon Balls out here.
Yeah.
What about you? It is amazing. It is amazing. There is no doubt about that. What about you, Maana? What about you? How do you see this Olympics? What is your take on this Olympics?
Well, this has been my dream ever since I started competing, and now it's finally coming true. So I'm very, very excited. I'm looking forward, and I really want to perform my best there. And it's very overwhelming at the same time, but I'm not gonna get myself distracted because obviously everyone's gonna be there, racing with the world's best. So it's gonna be nerve-wracking, but I'm very, very excited to put up a good show there.
Thank you all three of you for your valuable time. Take care and have a great time ahead. All the best for you, all three of you, for the Olympics.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from the three musketeers of Indian swimming, Srihari, Nataraj, Sajan, Prakash and Maana Patel, who will be competing at the Tokyo Olympics extravaganza. I take your leave, but don't go anywhere, as lots more lined up on the other side. Keep watching Doordarshan.